In this daily drop, I'm going to take you through the quote-unquote final setup for camera and lighting for this series I'm doing for Canon. So let's go. Okay, everybody, back here in the barn. And if you've been following along in yesterday's episode, I showed you the A camera setup for this. This is going to be an ongoing series of videos that I'm doing for Canon. It is not going to be content that's on this channel, but I'm going to be shooting it obviously in this space. So I wanted to create with them a quote unquote set that is going to work for the series. And then there'll be additional footage that's shot out there in the world, here in the studio space, so on and so forth. So what I thought I would do today is kind of take you through most of the important things in terms of thought process from my standpoint when I'm creating this type of content. So first and foremost, getting from yesterday's episode, if you've been following along, where I was showing you the A camera setup, to right now has taken a number of hours. There's a lot of small tweaks here and there, and I still don't think that I'm completely in a final place right now with this. But I'm at a place right now that if I had to roll cameras and roll sound and I had to create content, I think I'm pretty close to the finish line in terms of this setup. So let me take you through some stuff, and then again, some of my thought process behind it. If you have been watching the Daily Drop, you kind of get an idea or know what the basic setup is. I'm using 150 centimeter softbox over there. I'm not going to cut to a shot of it. It's the Nanlite 300B2 bicolor, has green magenta shift. It's a great little fixture, especially in a controlled environment. Great little fixture anyway. And then over my left shoulder, I've actually swapped out what is normally the PavoSlim 120C, which is a panel-based light, 1 foot by 2 foot. That didn't even sound like a word. And that has been replaced by the 240C. Why? Because I wanted to have a little bit more surface area for this separation. But as sort of a last minute decision, because I felt like this side of the frame needed a little bit of love, I've also set up that PavoSlim 120C over just to my right, and it's kind of right there. You can kind of feel the light there. Just because I felt like, you know, I'm bald, so having a hair light for me, which would be centered and above, doesn't always work. You get lots of weird little, you know, bald bald bounce, we'll call it. And so I tend to like my kicks or my backlight to come from the side a little bit. So you get a little bit of this kick right here, and you're not really reading it too much, but I'm going to turn these lights on and off. But you would, and you will see there's a little bit of a kick here as well, which is affecting exposure just ever so slightly. So what I'm going to do is start to turn lights on and off, and then we'll get to the camera side of it. So lights on and off, let's go ahead and turn off the key. That's the key light off. Okay, so now we have our two basic kicks. The one that's coming from my left side is a little bit stronger. I like to have a kick coming from the opposite side of the key, which is over there. So sort of just draw a little line diagonally. And then there's the one right here on the right. And let me just go ahead and turn that one off first, so you can see what the one over my left shoulder is doing. And you can see that it's creating separation here, but it's not really reaching this side of the frame. So that's why I have this little one right here. It does lift, and you can see that on the right side of my face. So let me go ahead and turn off the other kick so you can see exactly what this light is doing. And it's just giving me a little bit of separation so that there's something on this side of the frame. Again, with both of them together, they're not even. You're definitely feeling this side of the frame more than you are over here. But I felt it was necessary to do a little bit of something. I'm going to turn both of those off now. I'll be basically in silhouette with the Gobo, which I've increased. I backed it off a little so it's slightly larger. I've softened it up and I brought it down 25%. And then what we'll do is just take a look at the main key, and let me just make sure I'm on that. There we go. And there is just the background light, which is the Forza 60C with the projection attachment. It's a 36-degree one with one of the Gobos it comes with. Obviously, it's red, and that is because of Canon. And then we've got this gray tabletop here. So let me just go ahead and bring up that other kick there. This one here, I still might dial this around a little bit. I'm trying to figure it out, but I think I'm pretty close. And that's the basic lighting setup. You know, there's no paint by numbers with what we do. So this is going to be different based on your space, the way light bounces around your space, your preferences, which is a huge one, and most importantly, client preferences. In fact, I'll be sending this episode or some stills of it to the client so that they can do a final sign off. Okay, so camera wise, C400, which is set right now to just use the CMT built-in LUT. I may bake in a different one when I shoot the final videos, but Canon Log 2, Cinema Gamut, and then a LUT is being pushed right now. But when I record to camera, if I do it this way, then I'll have all that flexibility in post where I'll have log footage, wide color gamut. I can start with a different LUT if I want. I can start with the one that you're seeing here. That really just depends on preference. And when I get to that point, great. 24-105, the hybrid LZ lens, and that is set to approximately 30, I think it's 37 millimeters actually, full frame. So we're not in the Super 35. And then in terms of aperture, we're living in sort of an f5 to f5.6 split. Maybe it's a 4.5 to 5.6, somewhere in that neighborhood for A and B cameras. And I just want to make sure there's enough depth of field that everything is completely in focus. And to sort of get to where I want it to be, change the base ISO of A and B cameras to 3200, and then push that down to, I think I'm living right now at 2000 ISO as my ISO on both cameras. All right, so that's A camera. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to B so you can see what that looks like. It's also really important, take a look at the C70 here. When you're cutting between A and B cameras, I like things to stay in similar places in the frame. I think it's less jarring for the viewer when that happens. It's very similar to the idea of when you're cutting between A and B cameras for an interview. If you frame your subject or your talent in a slightly different place with A and B cameras and their eye lines are in different places, it can feel really jarring when you cut between A and B back to back or B to A. So that's sort of A and B camera. Probably a little wide on both of these. I don't have my final frames, but the idea is to give myself a little bit of leeway here so that if I need to crop in 10, 15, 20% for something, especially when we get into the B camera, and that's on the C80, 70 to 200, and we're living at pretty much that 70 millimeter focal length right now. Then I have a little bit of leeway here. The other thing is I will be adjusting. I kind of have an issue. I don't like to see this on the B camera. So I'll probably adjust this frame just ever so slightly and tilt it down just a little so you're not seeing this part of the person, in this case, me. I like it to just sort of be focused on the product itself. So just imagine the camera tilted down just slightly or a slightly tighter shot so that you're not seeing this, but this is a great way to show you. I just think it's distracting when somebody's talking and you're kind of feeling just part of their neck, or the start of their head, especially when you're feeling movement like this. And I'm exaggerating this, but I think you get the basic idea. So again, A camera, about 37 millimeter, we'll just call it 35 millimeters. B camera, 70 millimeter focal length. I think they're matching quite well in terms of exposure levels. And, it's really nice to have these hybrid lenses where the aperture is declicked, because you can really dial that in very precisely, which I like a lot. And then I'm probably not going to do it for the Canon stuff, but I do have the ability, because I'm going through Ecamm Live right now, to do an A and a B. And there you can see that, right? So I would rather see something more like this than to see something like this when it comes to the B camera. And then I do have picture-in-picture versions of these as well. So again, this is probably more so for live streams than anything else, but it gives you the basic idea. So again, 4 lights for this setup. Normally, I would do a setup like this with only 2 lights if I didn't have a gobo, some sort of projection. But in this case, the decision was, let's do this, and then adding that 4th light, because the 3rd obviously being the projection attachment for the background, the 4th light, just to give a little bit of lift in terms of that. Let me actually grab the remote one more time so you can see that just one more time. There we are with all lights off, and then we'll go ahead and just do it in the reverse order. There we go. There's our 2 kicks with separation, and boom, there's the key light. Okay, hopefully that all made sense. You're not getting any more BTS. I think you get the basic idea. Part of this is just doing this yourself. I may tweak this light just a little bit in terms of level. And just to note, color temperature is matching all around, except on the kicks. I felt like they were feeling a little too cool. So I warmed them up by about 200 Kelvin from the key light. And I just feel like it is a little bit more balanced. That's a personal preference. And I keep looking over here because that's my reference monitor for this whole look. So sometimes I peek over just to make sure that I'm referring to something for you accurately. Maybe I should have put that on this monitor. Not going to change it now. All right, there you go. Love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.